Before we go down for breakfast, we just want to do a quick recap of yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, our first full day in London. So we woke up and immediately hopped on public transportation.
Woke up so much earlier.
We woke up at 4:51. Just too excited, raring to go. Went over and picked up Bagel Bake for breakfast. Bagel Bake is amazing and everything I wanted it to be. It was interesting because I've spent so long creating my own salt beef recipe after the last time we came that I like the spicing in mine better. My spices are a lot stronger, but their texture is something that I cannot come close to. So my next challenge is to equal them on texture.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess the British are very light on flavor, or right,
Seasoning.
Yeah. And so
A bit of a stereotype, but in this case it was a little bit accurate.
It was really good.
It was funny because I was asking Phil, which do you prefer? And it's almost like they're different dishes. Just because mine is very strongly seasoned, but I like it that way. So after we went to Bagel Bake, we went to Bagel Shop and picked up the roll of challah that I've been lusting for since we had it last time.
Oh, we got a little roll from Bagel Bake.
Yeah, we got a little challah roll, just a little one, so we could see who's better. After that, we walked through the Brick Lane Market, which was unfortunately a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, well, we got there really early, so
we got there when it opened. It's supposed to open at 9.
And people were still like not even set up, like they were
at like 9:30.
Yeah.
And there were some of the vintage booths open, but nothing like the last time that we came.
And one really notable one with uniforms, but other than that.
So, we didn't stay in Brick Lane Market very long at all. I picked up a book about Scotland for my mom. It was a pound.
There's a part of Brick Lane that's like a boot sale.
Garage sale.
It's like
random, cheap, like, well, I don't honestly know if anything.
Everything's cheap, and it's all.
It looks like things that have been left behind.
Or like people like electronics and stuff that are like
sketch.
Yeah, there's one guy who was selling just phones.
Some of which were shattered, so I don't. Maybe he's a refurbisher. We'll think on the positive side.
Well, there are a lot of really new phones, so I'm like, I wonder where you got those, buddy.
Heathrow. So once we left Brick Lane, we hopped back on the bus and went over to Linden Market, which nothing was open in, and that's exactly how I like it.
Yeah, it was closed on Sundays. Is it closed on Sundays?
No, it wasn't closed. It just was. We were there at like 10 o'clock.
What time is it open?
I have no idea, but it was beautiful.
It's so chill.
And you could take all the photos you wanted without having people in them.
There was a family doing a photo shoot. That was fun.
Yeah.
Went away from them, but.
So once we went through Linden Hall and took a bunch of photos, we went over to Gower's Walk to find my temporary ancestral home where my relatives lived here for a few years.
It was a long walk to the walk.
It was a 15-minute walk.
It felt like it was on forever.
It did feel longer, but in reality it was a 15-minute walk. The place that they live was torn down to build a factory like 3 or 4 years after they left. And that factory is still there from the 1860s, I want to say.
Yeah, so it had a bit of siding on it, or scaffolding on one side, but you could tell it, like, it's old.
It was very fun. I mean, I don't really have a lot of ancestral ties to anywhere, so it was fun going, like, actually making a pilgrimage back to part of my family history.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yours is all over the place. Here, and then
Eastern Europe. So afterwards, we walked over to the Tower of London for Super Bloom. I loved Super Bloom. I had a jolly time.
So we
loved Super Bloom. We had timed tickets for the public viewing path at 11:30.
We walked straight from Gower's over there, and we were early.
Yeah, we got there around 11, and we were like, "Oh, I hope they let us in." They never even checked our tickets for the public viewing path.
There was no one. You can tell they had barriers set aside.
Yeah.
That used to block the public path, but.
Now they don't.
They don't care. And maybe it's just that we got there so early, and that maybe later when it gets really busy, they start putting up the barriers. But when we were there, they didn't care.
Yeah, it was super chill. Got some nice photos. And then we wandered around, sat in the shade.
Oh, so that was the public viewing. The actual
one we had a time entry for 12. And we had paid, I think, £12 each. We had made the reservations ages ago. But we got there at like 11:30, and I went to the front desk lady and I was like, "Hey, are we too early?" And she said it shouldn't be a problem. Walked in, they checked our bags. Phil thought it was funny. The security guard poked our challah with his little baton. We just kind of like, he poked it. Nudged it. Nudged it is a better word than poked it.
Yeah.
It was funny though.
Like, what is this? Bread. Our bread we're on an adventure today.
We always have adventure bread when we come to London. Last time, our adventure bread was a baguette that we brought back from Paris to London.
And I went through the security scanner.
Yeah, still funny to watch a baguette go through an x-ray machine. So we wandered around in Super Bloom. Lots of yellow flowers this
Cool.
time. I'm glad it was yellow because with his color blindness, he could actually see them.
I like the white ones.
The white ones are lovely too.
So it's hot. So if you go to
There's very little shade. There's
bring an
like
umbrella.
3 shade stations.
Yeah, and they're just at the base of the tower. Like the moat wall is there, and you can just sit against the wall. And they're nice, but overall,
The slide was
very
closed
hot.
because it was too hot.
And you had people doing the Yellowstone thing where like, is
They
it
would,
really
like,
hot? And
tap it with their hand and go like, whoa!
Yeah,
That was a
that's-
very enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah, there was at least 2 dudes who did it when we were sitting there waiting in the shade.
And then some mom that said, "You burn your bum," when she was explaining to her kids why they couldn't ride the slide.
Yeah. Overall, I was much more impressed with the Super Bloom than seeing it overall from up. So Haley told me about it. I hadn't seen a lot of news about it.
I had been watching it develop on Twitter, so I knew that they had some challenges coming into it, so nothing bloomed when they wanted it to. But now that the heat has kicked in, all the flowers are starting to come up. So this is what it should have looked like during the Jubilee. But they're a few weeks behind.
So we were like peak, and when you're up top, you don't get. It just looks like fields of flower, which we've seen before in Washington. But once you get down there, you get in the thick of it. It is a lot more.
I love what they did with the different heights.
Century too.
You feel like you're a little bug wandering around.
Yeah, they were like, we made sure that this one area has much taller vegetation, so you can look up at and see the sky and the plants much the way that a bug would.
A pollinator would.
Pollinator would.
There were so many bees there. Oh my god, Mommy would have hated it.
Yeah, so many bees, but
they
big
were like
fuzzy bumbles. There was not a single wasp in sight.
Yeah, I was not bothered by any bees.
Yeah, no, but they didn't care. They
were just dancing
They had
around.
a smorgasbord of food. Why would they care about the humans?
Yeah.
Unless
Nobody
you
was
wore
caring though.
Yellow or something.
Nobody was caring though about the bees. It was nice. Yeah. So we enjoyed Super Bloom, wandered around for a bit. And then we walked across Tower Bridge for the nostalgia. I love Tower Bridge. I will always love Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge will be closed today and tomorrow because of the heat.
They closed the experience.
The experience.
I was like, that must be hot up there.
So once we walked across Tower Bridge,
gorgeous as always.
yeah, we cut through Hayes Galleria, saw some of the monkey sculptures that are on the South Bank, which are weird but fun. And then we made it over to Borough Market,
So we
which
walked
was
all the way
packed. Oh my god, it was so busy.
And we walked all the way from the
Linden Hall,
Indian Hall all the way to Borough.
which isn't that far.
Not that far. And then we went to Borough. Borough was fun.
Borough was packed, so we didn't eat anything there.
It didn't seem as packed as last time though. Definitely was not. Quite
Yes,
there.
it was. We were there at noon on like 1 o'clock on a Sunday.
It just, I don't know. I just think they remember it being like before you were actually touching people that we were so close together trying to move through the crowds.
When we were getting in there, it was like that though. So we went over to Hawkesboro and we were there at 1:30. Our reservation was for 2:30, and we were like, "Hey, will you let us in?" And they were like, "Sure."
They weren't super slammed.
Yeah, they were really relatively light and had just a phenomenal meal. We both got Sunday roast. We got one well done and one pink, just because we weren't sure. Sometimes roast can be too pink for us. I'm a medium kind of person, and he said our options were pink or well done, and I was like, but middle's not that hard. Yeah, so we got that. This giant Yorkshire pudding that was lovely.
Big as our head.
Caramelized carrots, like a whole head of garlic that was roasted and smushy that you could smush in with the roast potatoes and the greens.
The onion too, half an onion.
Yeah.
And then he was like, sold me on cauliflower cheese, which sounded really good, and it was really good.
The cauliflower cheese was delicious, but wholly unnecessary because that roast dinner was huge.
Yeah, but you pushed a special right on it.
Yeah, he's a fish. We also got fancy drinks because
yeah.
London has embraced the mocktail. I got a pineapple soda, which, oh my god.
Yeah, that
oh
thing
my
was
god,
just,
that was good.
I like pineapple, and that was way pineapple. It was like they poured pineapple juice in a glass with ice.
And it was fizzy. It was super good. And then you got the Earl Grey iced tea.
Yeah, it was very lemon-y.
It was good. I mean, it wasn't sweet enough for me. I really liked it.
Oh, I thought it was, yeah.
I like things sweeter, though.
And we got ice, too. And it was like
Yeah,
a whole
we asked
thing.
for extra ice, and he just brought us a cup full of ice, and I was like, thank you. Oh.
Never that's how warm it was until the ice melted so fast.
Yeah, the ice was melting in like 3 seconds.
Maybe they don't freeze it quite as hard. I don't know.
No, I mean, once you reach peak freeze.
Well, the ice can get colder than 32.
Anyway, so then we ordered 1 scoop of clotted cream ice cream because I love clotted cream, and we haven't had a cream tea yet.
And all that, and we've never seen cream tea or
Clotted cream ice cream.
And it was
delicious.
delicious.
Exactly what you wanted, because the thing was, it melted at a point where you could tell that it was actual clotted cream in there. So you would get these little like icy bits, and then you get the fatty bits because it didn't perfectly homogenize, and it was incredible that way. It was so good.
Yeah, for a little fat bit, it was just like flavor, and then the crystals were like, oh.
Where it's when he's saying fat, it's butter, literally just butter fat. So that sweet, creamy texture. So we were like halfway through the ice cream, and then they brought us a little happy anniversary thing, because when I made our reservation, it asked, is this for a special occasion? And this is kind of, the thing is that we came here for our unofficial honeymoon 1 year after we got married, so that was fun. And technically, I know our anniversary isn't until August, but this is our anniversary trip because it's a big deal. So they brought over 3 of the homemade Rolos.
Yeah, salted caramel Rolos. You didn't even try chocolate.
I tried a bite of it, and it wasn't the worst thing I've ever eaten, so maybe they should list them as ooey gooey things, which will be funny to only Jenica and my mom. And Jenica doesn't watch these.
Well, what I did is I ended up scooping the caramel out of the middle for her.
Oh my god, the center was this caramel toffee that was salted and just one of the best things. Oh my god, it was so good. So I had the center of that and then filleted the other 2.
Yeah, and I was like, she was like, I was like, man, that would have been good to try. And then they brought us.
Yeah, he had been absolutely lusting over them on the pudding menu.
And so, what else do we...
One thing that was really funny is, so we're still masking while we eat. So we lift up the mask, take a bite, put the mask down, and Phil's mask was just trashed between the gravy, and he had a chocolate print right on his nose. It was one of the funniest things because we had to walk back still wearing our masks. So he basically had a coat of many colors on his face.
There, when we walked out, this woman who's like, oh, let's look at the menu. And I was like, you don't have to look at the menu. It's on my face.
So we were very stuffed, walked back to the hotel.
Yeah, all mile of it.
Yeah, what Phil was saying was, so we took the bus all the way to Brick Lane, basically took the bus back to Leadenhall, and then walked back from Leadenhall, which is across the Thames.
Surprised we didn't walk back from Brick to Leadenhall. Oh, we were time crunch because we wanted to...
We had the timed reservations for Tower for the Super Blue.
And then once we did Leadenhall, we're like, oh, we got more than enough time. Yeah.
So we came back to the hotel room.
Yeah, we walked all the way from Leadenhall to Gowers to
Super Bloom
to Borough, and then back here. It was like, oh, we took a bus and then walked the 3 miles back.
It was nice though. So we took a nice little nap, felt refreshed, and then we headed off to go see the proms, to see Cynthia Arabia. So Royal Albert Hall was lovely as always.
I don't think the naps would be an everyday thing.
I don't think so. I don't know.
It's just during the hot, where it's so hot. It's nice to come back and get a water and reset
and just kind
cool
of
down.
Escape the heat for a little bit. So
yeah, she was amazing.
She was lovely. We were talking about it last night, what our favorite song was. I realized without question that the song that stood out the most for me was actually "Feeling Good" by Nina Simone.
I just liked the whole first act of Standards. They were all really good.
Yeah, the first half was standard, second half was more modern. Her voice is incredible. Everything she does is effortless, and the thing is,
I
as a
could
singer, you can hear. Okay, so you hear how smooth the progression of notes are, and the amount of control that she has is insane.
She gave me goosebumps a couple times. Like,
Same.
Like, whoa.
Just when she was actually going to go riff, and it was perfection.
Yeah,
She didn't have much stage presence when she wasn't singing.
Yeah. But, I mean, other than that, it was...
As long as she was singing, it was great. It was just she didn't really know how to bridge the gap in between songs. But her voice was next level, and we were in the box. What did you think about the box?
Boxy. Our chairs at first were really close together during the first part, and then we like separated a little bit, and it was much more comfortable. But yeah, they were really, the chairs were really nice.
I felt very fancy in the box. The people next to us their company had bought the entire box for a work function.
The box was bigger than ours.
No, it was the exact same size.
No.
All the boxes are the same that level. The only box that's different
because
is
the
lower
one
level.
to our right had a double door to get in, and ours had a single door.
Doesn't matter. The Logia boxes all have... I don't know how to say that. It's one of those words that I've only read, and no one says it out loud. It's Loggia.
Logia?
Logia?
In my head I pronounce it like Legionnaire, like...
I don't know. So, we had the box seats. It was lovely. Picked up a magnet and a bag.
We had a guy right behind us in the box seat who... There's a scene in Citizen Kane where he's applauding a show, and it's just...
Super famous gif where he's like...
He's so intensely like... And that was the guy behind us. He was just like... Bam,
One
bam,
of the
bam.
loudest claps I've heard in my life.
I used to keep going, but man, my hands must have hurt. My hands will start doing it right now.
But yeah, so it was a great show. Then we walked back to the tube station. Then took the tube back to Westminster, where we got to see Big Ben at night up close. So that was our first up close Big Ben at all
And now
in any trip.
Off, yeah.
So that was lovely. All it's cracked up to be. People soup everywhere.
Tons of the
Rickshaws.
rickshaws blasting music. That's always fun.
All
to
sorts
watch.
of different music. It's the only time where I've been like, okay, we need to secure our stuff because we're going to get pickpocketed here.
Yeah.
Because the Waterloo Bridge is not super safe.
Yeah.
Lots of people taking photos with the London Eye, with Big Ben in the background.
Yeah, they're just holding their hands. The phone's out at the distance. It's like someone just went.
Boink.
Yeah.
But it was pretty, so we walked back through there, and then we basically retraced our steps from last night, walking back from Westminster through Waterloo, and on our way in between Waterloo and coming back to the room, we stopped at Capital Kebab House, where I sent Phil in to get a chicken kebab and a halloumi kebab. And he came out with a chicken kebab, a halloumi kebab, and a lamb kebab, because...
Lamb? Lamb. I said lamb.
Lamb?
Lamb.
I need some caffeine in me. So, we got the 3 kebabs. Chicken, by and far, was the best. It was incredible. There was a ton of meat. It was very flavorful.
The lamb was very meatful too, but it didn't have as much flavor as the chicken.
It was just greasy.
Yeah, it was just grease and veggies, and
Yeah.
which was good.
The halloumi was a little lacking
It was
because it was like 4 tiny little pieces of halloumi, so it just mostly tasted like vegetables.
And the halloumi didn't have flavor to it.
Yeah, the only reason you could tell the halloumi was even in there was because it would squeak on your teeth when you were chewing.
Halloumi needs to be really grilled, and it was lightly grilled.
It needed seasoning. I did come with 2 sauces, a chili sauce and a garlic sauce, which the chili sauce was super spicy but very tasty. So
It's an actual chili in it.
Yeah, you had to balance it out with garlic sauce. Normally I'm not a white sauce person, but I had to have it on there or I couldn't have the chili. And the chili was good because it actually had flavor.
Yeah. The chicken didn't either, really. But
It was
the
good,
lamb
though.
did.
So we ate our kebabs, and then we had the worst night's sleep of the trip, hopefully.
Yeah, it was really warm.
It's
and
so hot.
sweating and
I couldn't fall asleep. And when I did, I'd wake up like 20 minutes later hoping it was morning. So hopefully
sweating, yeah.
we sleep a little bit better today, but for right now, we're going to go down and have a full English, and we'll take you with us. Breakfast started 18 minutes ago, so we're going to go eat outside and get a full English. Yeah.